You're listening to AintItCool.com.
John Erie here with AintItCool.com, talking today to Charlie Ross. And Charlie, you have sort of an interesting job. Tell us a little bit about it.
An interesting job, yeah. My job is to basically be a nerd, a sweaty nerd. I do two shows predominantly, the one-man Star Wars trilogy and the one-man Lord of the Rings, which is basically exactly as it sounds. It's me on stage using no costume, sets, props, talent, to sort of recreate both of the trilogies. I do that on different nights.
The garbage chute. What a wonderful idea. What an incredible smell you've discovered. Well, it could be worse.
So I'm doing, impressions, like I'd be doing Smeagol.
Reruns that we need that must have the precious.
Or, if that was the case. And telling the stories, I'm not using much in the way of exposition. It's basically just me using dialogue and the action, and trying to sort of push the envelope of what you can do with just yourself.
I will leave you on the western borders of the forest. Take us south. South? That doesn't make any sense to me. But then you are very small.
Star Wars I've been doing for almost 12 years now. And I've been doing The Lord of the Rings since 2004. So in some ways, the shows barely resemble what they were at the beginning. Not that this changed the content of it, but the pace, the way I poke fun. Sometimes I've just gotten lazy with impressions. My Yoda now sounds like a dying goat. So, that's okay.
Now, speaking of impressions, can you give us any tips on how to do some of the bigger characters in both stories?
Well, I kind of think that my the way I feel about Star Wars is that there weren't the same types of actors that were in Star Wars as, say, in Lord of the Rings, and I'm not really sure why that was, but I guess because everything in Lord of the Rings tends to be, there's a lot of monsters, there's a lot of, there's elves and wizards, and everybody's sort of putting on a massive, larger-than-life character. And with Star Wars, there are larger-than-life characters, but there's also just dudes, people doing their job, working in the military. They're not some crazy wacky guy, so it gives you less to sort of sink your teeth into. So whereas when you have the Emperor, he's like, oh no, my young apprentice. He's doing so much more with his material because he has to be larger than life. So that for me gives me a chance to sort of sink my teeth into. I really enjoy Smeagol because Smeagol's a fun guy to play with. So if you do
Rider birds suddenly appear every time you are near.
It's fun to be able to sort of try on something different with Smeagol, and you can kind of freeform with him. I love trying to do the impression of the Emperor, but I don't tend to stray too far outside of what he already does. So I sometimes get stuck doing little, I do like they call it a bumper for radio, where I say,
you're listening to AintItCool.com.
I would do something like that. And then they would use it, as a little bumper for their website or for their radio station. So I end up doing that a lot. So I don't know, as far as it being a favorite character, it's probably Smeagol.
Cool. Well, hey, Charlie, I really appreciate your time. And where can people find you online?
onemanlotr.com.
All right, I appreciate it. And for more news and reviews, keep checking back in with AintItCool.com. I'm John Erie.